Welcome everyone to the Speaking Part 7 Expressing Opinions Analysis. Now, before I get started, I want to let you know that Speaking Part 7 is more focused on CLB 7 or higher. What does that mean? Well, that means that if you need to get 7 or higher, 8, 9 or higher, then you should definitely focus on trying to develop answers for this part the most. That's because speaking part 7 really demonstrates your English knowledge. The questions are more complex to understand. You have to speak for a minute and 30 seconds. And when you have to express your opinion, you use language which is more difficult or higher level. So that's why speaking part 7 is more focused on higher levels, okay? Now, for lower levels, CLB 5 to 6, it means that if you don't do so well in answering this question, it doesn't mean you're not going to get 5 or 6. No, no, because it's understandable that this question can be more difficult for lower levels, okay? So, also, I want to mention about this really great tips and strategies video. You can find this video in our Speaking Part 7 playlist. And this video will guide you to some very important tips and strategies that you can use for answering this question. Some of the strategies that I'm going to use myself. So I strongly recommend it. Okay, so now I'm here in the Speaking Part 7 section of the CELPIP library. Okay. And today we are gonna do a question from volume 9. Artificial intelligence. Wow. All right. Sounds like a very interesting question. Part 7, preparation time 30 seconds, speaking time 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's what I mean. It's you have to speak longer, okay? What does our question say over here? Do you think that artificial intelligence or robots should be used in workplaces instead of human workers? Explain your reasons. Wow, very deep. Deep. Well, that's kind of part 7 questions, everyone. Part 7 questions. They are about anything that's a trend in society or some issues in society. And this issue or this question of artificial intelligence or robots, it's becoming quite an issue. Okay. And well, the big question, of course, is how much should we accept it? How much should we use it? And well, if you ask me, I'm a little bit concerned, a little bit, um, well, I wonder how much more artificial intelligence will influence our society. That's what this question is about, particularly in relation to work. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, I will be following some of the tips and strategies in our guide. Okay. In particular, I'm going to be trying to use stronger language. Mhm. As much as I can. I see here, of course, modals of advice, possibility, and necessity, as well as conditionals. Those are just some of few of the higher level structures that we can use. I will try to illustrate those as I go and I will explain them. And definitely trying to organize and use all of my time. Now, for organization, I am going to be following this template that I have here. This template, I think, gives us a good way to answer the question. In particular, for this question, I'm going to try to give ideas for both sides. That's important. When we have this type of question, okay, let me now switch over to my board here. When we have this type of question, okay, where do you think it's an open-ended yes/no question, I find that answering with ideas for both sides makes our answer stronger. Or it's more academic, let's say, even though, again, this is not an academic test. But if you think about level 10, 11, or 12, the advanced levels, they are academic, okay? Again, CELPIP is more about general English, but I mean, if you use academic language, that'll make it stronger because the higher levels, 9 or higher, they're advanced and they will be able to answer this question more academically. And when we look at these questions that are controversial or they're an issue, we can give answers for why we think it's good and why we think it's not good. And that is stronger. Now, can you get 9, 10, 11, 12 with just saying yes? Of course. Or only saying no? Yes, of course. Because this is more about speaking. And speaking is not only about your ideas, okay? Speaking is about your fluency, your clarity, and your knowledge. But I will say this, if you speak not so well in clarity and in flow, but you give ideas about both sides, it will increase your score. Because the examiner, they will understand that, of course, it's a time test. This is all understandable. But when they listen to you give ideas about both sides, they will say, wow, this person, they're very knowledgeable about this topic and in English. But if you only give answers for one side and you speak not so strong, I mean your speaking or your speech skills, then it will seem like this person doesn't have ideas about this topic and they are not so knowledgeable. Okay? So again, weaker speech with strong ideas for both sides, or for just ideas for both sides, not strong, will be stronger. So keep that in mind. I think it's a useful strategy, and that is the strategy that I'm going to use. I'm going to try to develop an answer for both sides. Okay? All right, so let's start by introducing the question. All right, again, do you think that artificial intelligence or robots should be used in workplaces instead of human workers? That's important. Explain your reasons. So let's introduce the question here. From my point of view, for some reasons, I agree that artificial intelligence or robots should be used in the workplace instead of human workers. But for other reasons, I disagree. Okay, just very direct here, very direct, nothing really strong. I mean, we could use other words. I find that in the opening or when you're introducing the question, we should be very direct. We want to give the examiner or whoever's grading your test, we want to give them the idea that you understand the question clearly. And also, we want to introduce quickly. Okay? So, there's no need to change anything here. I mean, you can say utilized, um, technological advancements. There's many things you can say, but I prefer to just be direct and clear to start. Okay? Now, I will say, and I will remind you that in this sample answer, I am going to be using a lot of structure and sequence to organize my ideas. This is so important for higher levels. That is in blue, okay? Everything in blue is organization, structure, and sequencing. We can use that kind of language all the time. Very important for higher levels. Controlled speaking. Controlled speaking demonstrates native language use. You know when to start and you know when to stop. And we need that for higher levels. We need to have control of our speech, our ideas, and our knowledge. Okay? And then the other part that I want to mention is, of course, the red, which is the main grammatical forms that I will be using. And I'm going to say something about those. Everything else will be in black. Okay? So now let's get to my first idea. Okay. First and most importantly, I agree because in many cases, highly advanced technology could be more productive than human workers. So you see here, now I've changed it up a bit. Highly advanced technology replaced artificial intelligence or robots. Okay? And we want to try and do that. I mean, it's not necessary, but the more that you can change your vocabulary for the idea, the higher your grade. Okay? And then my main idea here is that AI or robots, it could be more productive than human workers. Okay, could be. So that's why I agree. Now, I think I need to give an example here because we need to say how. Okay? For example, it, or highly advanced technology, could accomplish difficult tasks much faster than people. Or machines could complete heavier work much easier than people. Okay, all right. So we gave some good examples there about AI or robots. Again, they can accomplish difficult tasks, difficult work much faster. Okay. Or also could complete heavier work much easier than people. That's true. Robots, machines can do that. Machines can be robots. Okay. These examples are good. I don't see something very strong here. I don't see, I would say that highly advanced technology, that's a stronger vocabulary. And I guess the other part that I think is strong here is just using modals. Okay. Could complete, we used here could. Okay. I don't think the other, well, just that, I want to mention that again. We're just trying to develop a 7 to 9 answer. We're not going for 12 here. Okay. Even though I could try, but we're just trying to get to that 9 range. I need to explain a little bit more what this means for the topic. So, for this reason, computers or machines could be seen as more efficient and productive than human beings. Now, I do like here about could be seen. Could be seen, modal passive. Okay. Modal passive is strong. And, well, efficient. Efficient. I think that that's a good word. Um, Again, much more efficient would be stronger here. But this answer and this idea, it's very clear and direct, and it gives us, it explains why we agree. Okay. Now, of course, we can say a lot more, but we need to move on. This is something that levels 7, 8, 9s, they need to understand. We don't have all day to explain everything more strongly or clearer. No. We need to know when we've said enough. We've said enough here. We gave our idea, we gave an example, and we explained. So let's move on. And now I'm going to move on to the other side. Okay, there we go. On the other hand, I disagree because, as we all know, employment has always been crucial for the robustness of our economy and people's way of life. Strong. See, this idea already here, for several reasons, it's already stronger than here, than the first part. I find, first of all, using present perfect crucial, and the robustness of our economy, that definitely is 10 or higher vocabulary. Well, at least the robustness. Okay. People's way of life as well. So again, just it sounds stronger and very important. Look at my structure. I'm moving to the other side. Okay. So this is saying here that employment is important for us, for people. Okay. That's what it's saying. And that's why I disagree. Or it's not clear the connection to AI or machines, but I'm probably going to bring that up now in the explanation. Due to this reality, strong connector, due to this reality, so this fact, due to this fact, because of this is weak, but due to this reality, strong connector here. It means that this is real. It's a fact of life. Due to this fact of life, that would be good as well. Okay? Due to this reality, if we started replacing workers with computers or machines, this could definitely lead to more unemployment and further socioeconomic problems, such as poverty and crime. Strong. And this whole side, I would say, is at least one level higher than this one. Well, if I would say this one's 7 to 9, I would say this one's 10, 11. Okay? And again, it's about the combination. Doesn't mean that everything needs to be super strong. Just this is the way this idea, and I'll tell you here again, the strong connector. Now we're also using here, very important, unreal conditionals. Okay? Now the unreal conditionals, we can tell it's an unreal conditional. Why is that? Because we are using past tense in the condition. When we use past tense, if we started, okay, and why the reason we say here, if we started, because this question is telling us, should we use more AI and robots in the workplace? Should we do it? And that's why here, so it's not real. We're not using it yet. But if we started, That is the correct way to express this, okay? Now, this is where it gets lower. Like if we say, if we start, many, even native people will say that. If we start replacing, they would say that, okay? Maybe even I've said it sometimes, because past and present in the condition, it's used irregularly many times. But if we start replacing, this is a real conditional. It means we are gonna do it, or we're going to. Sorry, I'm using gonna, but so the correct way to express this idea here is the unreal way. If we started replacing workers with computers or machines, if we started doing that, this could definitely lead. So we finish with a could. Okay. To more unemployment and further socioeconomic problems. Very good. Social, and economic. And then one, social, poverty, and crime. Well, poverty, economic, crime, social. So, very strong idea. And again, I think this is enough. This is enough. Idea, explanation. Here we gave idea, explanation, example, explanation. Both are really good examples here. And again, we need to know when to stop. And that is important here. And I think that this is enough for my disagreement. So I agreed for this reasons. I disagreed for these reasons, or for this reason. Okay. And now I'm going to try to give a strong conclusion. And I think if you can give a strong conclusion, this could be the one to really ensure that you got that high score, okay? The one to guarantee that. Overall, I strongly believe that our world is at the cusp of a new AI era. At the cusp of a new AI era. Very strong expression here. When we say at the cusp of a new era, we say we're at the beginning, the start of, or the dawn of a new era. That's another good one. The dawn of a new era. The cusp of a new era. Again, I said there, dawn. The beginning, the start, okay, of a new AI. Also, I've changed here to AI, not artificial intelligence. Okay, also shows the knowledge. So AI and robotics should be welcomed into the workplace. Okay, so we're at the dawn of a new era. Okay, we should welcome AI into the workplace. We should welcome this technology. Okay, but let's remember that I agreed. So that would be agree. But I also disagreed. So, however, these technologies should not render human workers redundant. Very strong. Again, very strong. Render here means make it happen, or just make, produce. When you render something, you cause it. Cause. So these technologies should not cause human workers to become redundant or useless or unemployed, obsolete. That's what redundant means. Not useful anymore. So, these technologies should not render human workers redundant, but instead, as another mechanical tool to foster, to support, to make the success and prosperity of employers and employees. Well, I said we should try to finish strongly, and we did. Okay? Lots of good things happening in this closing statement. Part 7, everyone. Expressing opinions. Try to give a closing statement like you're giving a speech, because that's what it is. Part 7. This is the one that could make it or break it for you for 9 or higher or 7 or higher. So giving a closing statement like the one we've given here, there's a lot happening in here. First, we have a great expression which fits this part. Then we have modal passive, should be welcomed. Modal passive, okay. Then we have strong vocabulary, render, redundant. And just a really strong idea. Basically AI should not make human beings useless, but help in the success of the company, success and prosperity. Okay? So I almost feel, and that's sometimes how it is, and that's another strategy that we can use. Another strategy that we can use is get stronger as we go to the end. I feel like this here was the weakest idea or the weakest part of this example. Well, no. The intro was very straightforward, very direct. Okay? The second or the first side, it was good. I didn't feel like it was so strong. I feel like this one is more 7 to 8. And then when we get here, I feel like it's 9 to 10. And when we get here, I feel like it's 11 to 12. Well, again, it's not really about the vocabulary or the language for speaking. It's a combination of everything. And this is only an example. Okay? It's a good example that will help us develop our answers. Now, what I really would want everyone to know is that the first thing that we need to understand about this answer is the organization. This is what level 7s, 8s, and 9s, definitely 9s or higher, they need to demonstrate this kind of control and ability to organize their answers like we have here. Okay, we need to organize. And again, I strongly recommend when we have these do you think questions, not all the questions are do you think. Okay? But when we have these ones, I strongly recommend that you should argue for both sides. For some reasons I agree, for other reasons I disagree. This will work in your favor, okay? And if you have a chance, it's not so important, this one, but I do think that higher levels making a closing statement, a strong one, that will really make your answer sound complete. So that's the first thing. Now, the second point that I want to make, again, it's just about the language, the formation. Lots of modalities. I was going to say, and while I was looking at this one here, we could change here could to might, just to show, and may over here, just to show that we have more knowledge of modals. I was only using could. And we can say here, remember, might and may and could, they have similar meanings for modals of possibility, okay? So I'm going to leave those there. That I find makes it stronger right there. Okay, so our language use, well, again, this modals, okay, modals. And this, even this one here is modal passive, right? Modal passive. But let's just say modals. Modals. Should, could, might, may, could over here, should. These modals, or modals in general, they are part of the higher level students' vocabulary. Lower levels, it's very hard for them to speak using modals. Okay? So keep that in mind. As well as we used perfect over here. We used, like I was telling you, unreal conditional over here. Passive, modal passive over here, okay? So that kind of stronger language in terms of grammar, that's important. And the next part, of course, is, well, let's just say the ideas, okay? And actually the ideas could be second. We did give some good ideas. We said advanced technology could be more productive and efficient. We said employment is important for humans, okay, for people. This is our way of life. So those ideas should be second. Then about language, okay? And fourth, all the way to fourth, is the vocabulary level that we've used. Now, some, like I said already, some parts in here are not so strong, much faster, much easier. This is simple. But some parts are very strong. The robustness of our economy, okay, due to this reality, socioeconomic problems, all right, highly advanced technology, the cusp of a new era, render human workers redundant. So it's a mixture. Again, this vocabulary that we use, it is stronger in some parts, not everywhere. All right. So I hope we got that, everyone. I hope we got that, but let's remember what I think is also very important and more important than language use, and that's speech. It's about your speaking. We need to have flow and we need to have good intonation. And that's why we should use, or we should remember to keep in mind that we need to speak slowly, clearly, and continuously while we are speaking, okay? That's very important for us, okay? That's what we need to try and do. And that's what I'm going to try and do here. Of course, I'm going to try and do it at a higher level. But please, while I read this answer, please follow along and focus on my intonation and my clarity, okay? My flow. Okay, here I go. From my point of view, for some reasons, I agree that artificial intelligence or robots should be used in the workplace instead of human workers, but for other reasons, I disagree. First and most importantly, I agree because in many cases, highly advanced technology could be more productive than human workers. For example, it could accomplish difficult tasks much faster than people, or machines might complete heavier work much easier than people. So, for this reason, computers or machines may be seen as more efficient and productive than human beings. On the other hand, I disagree because, as we all know, employment has always been crucial for the robustness of our economy and people's way of life. Due to this reality, if we started replacing workers with computers or machines, this could definitely lead to more unemployment and further socioeconomic problems, such as poverty and crime. Overall, I strongly believe that our world is at the cusp of a new AI era. So, AI and robotics should be welcomed into the workplace. However, these technologies should not render human workers redundant, but rather as another mechanical tool to foster the success and prosperity of employers and employees. Well, everyone, you can see there that I used every single second. Now, I was trying to be clearer, so I was going a little bit slower than usual. But I did want to emphasize that. I did want to emphasize that it's not speed talking, and we need to try to be clear. And it's natural to have pauses between your ideas or when you're giving a speech. So let's keep that in mind. Now, everyone, I strongly recommend that to practice, we should for sure read this answer and study it. We need to read it and make sure we understand the structure, the expression of ideas, the language use, and the vocabulary and ideas as well. Okay? And then we should practice reading it and speaking it in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay? Of course, if you can get to the point where you can say this answer by yourself, that would be amazing, everyone. Now, for that, I am going to leave a link in the description box to this question, okay? I'm going to leave that link where you can practice. It's also, we have a 5-6 answer if you want to see it. That one's good too. And then we have here this one. And so, everyone, I'll leave that link in the description box for you to practice reading and speaking it. As well, everyone, don't forget about our CELPIP library. Okay, we have over 50, 60 examples of speaking, writing, reading sections, and listening. I strongly recommend the CELPIP library. And so at the bottom of that link, there'll be a link to purchase a library pass, okay? And with discount code CELPIP79, you can get a 3-month subscription for only $10.99. Very good deal, everyone. This includes present, past CELPIP exams and other CELPIP material. So I strongly recommend it, everyone. Don't forget that practice makes perfect.